Great. So thank you so much for taking the time for this.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So I've been watching you on Instagram, and you've got a lovely community fitness going on. And my channel is mostly about studio exercise. And there's just a couple of things that I would like to chat with you about. And the first being, you being a woman in the fitness industry. How are you finding that?
Well, I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years, so it's kind of how I found it has evolved really over the last 20 years. At the moment, I think because I went online this time last year, and I've done okay, but because I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years, I had quite a substantial following anyway, so that really helped. But generally speaking, I mean, if as a woman in the fitness industry, generally speaking, before lockdown, before all of this, I think I love what I do. I think there's a lot of pressure on women to be and look and act a certain way. And I think the fitness industry can bring with it a shallowness and an egotistical side that can be incredibly ugly. And actually, to be fair, every industry has that potential, but I think because of the nature of the body beautiful industry, I think that can put an awful lot of pressure on women. And I've had to do a lot of inner work to make sure that I didn't kind of fall into that trap.
Yeah,
or I didn't keep falling back into that trap, rather, because I have done, for sure.
No, I totally get that. And, you know, it's not the same pressure for us, for men. And I always say that, you know, group exercise bit is a little bit of sexist in a way, because I can walk into a room, make 10 mistakes, and nobody will notice. While if a woman goes into a room and makes one mistake, everybody will notice because of the public. That's been my experience in a way. So I can imagine it's double the pressure when teaching.
Do you know, for me, I've always owned my weaknesses. I've always been very vulnerable with whenever I make a mistake, I make a joke out of it. So that's how I've got around that. And I've kind of, I guess I've wooed people onto my side, because I'm quite happy to take the mickey out of myself. So if I go wrong, I really do I'd make a joke out of it with everybody. But I think the thing that maybe I've found hardest, and especially at the moment, if I'm honest, is that if a woman has managed to, like, I've not always been athletic looking, I've been very overweight, but if a woman has there's a massive push on social media at the moment, and just generally in the world, for women not to look athletic. Almost it's almost like if you've kept your physique in a certain way, you get penalized for that, for sure. People are much more kind to people that look more normal, but I'm never going to look like that, because I train every day, so I'm always going to be lean, I'm always going to be athletic, and I find that has caused quite a lot of that can cause a lot of jealousy, or maybe people just not feeling good in their own skin. That's difficult. That's a difficult one to navigate, because clearly, you know, I look the way that I do because of my job. It's not for any other reason, really. So
does it also, like, increase expectations into your clients, like, oh, I want to look like you, or, you know, will I ever get to look like you?
Yes, and I do have clients that come to me and say, I want to look like you, and then the question will always be, but why? Because I've put 20 years of work into this body, and, you know, I do really look after my nutrition very well. and I work very hard. And have you got the time? Have you got the patience? And have you got the want to do that even? I mean, why? Having a body like, having an athletic body doesn't necessarily bring you happiness. It doesn't necessarily bring anything other than strength, physical strength. You can still have a body that looks like an athlete or a model or what have you, and still be completely miserable on the inside. So I have to really do a lot of probing and say, it's going to take a lot of work. Why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Why
Do you
do you
think?
want to?
Yeah. No, absolutely get it. And I mean, it's very important that you're trying to educate your clients on that. And because of all the fast food fitness that you get online or even out there, where everybody's just promising you that, look, you're going to be like this in a short amount of time, and it's going to change your life, and it's like a magic pill. Everything's going to change within a day. So it's very important that you do educate your clients. I've got the same thing, but in terms of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
So people come to me with the expectation that within a session, they're going to start like jumping again. And I'm like, no, it takes a lot of time. Do you find people lack the motivation or the discipline? And that's a hard question.
I think people come to a trainer because they lack both, to be honest. And I mean, I was always I was always veered towards group fitness. I enjoy group fitness more so than personal training, if I'm honest, because of the kind of the fun, the party aspect, really. And as we know, there's getting into shape statistically is much more achievable if you get yourself involved in a group fitness or with a trainer. But I think if you're specifically going for a trainer, it's generally because people are lacking the motivation to go and join or not the self esteem to go and do a class or go into the gym, or they don't want to be seen. They want to first try and figure out what they maybe lose some weight or understand what they're doing with regards to their exercises before they go and get seen out in public with the general public. And I can understand that. I mean, I guess for you and I, when you're this far down the path in the fitness journey, we forget how intimidating the gym can be and how intimidating group fitness can be in a studio. So for me, I actually go to people's houses or they come to me, and it's very private. And I find that I attract a lot of people that don't particularly want to be in the gym, or they want to have a physique, or they're attracted to my physique and they want to train with me for that reason. That seems to be the two main things, really.
Great. So can I ask you, how did you start with fitness, working in fitness?
My dad was a very well-known bodybuilder and made quite a name for himself out in Hollywood in America. And I guess, although I didn't grow up with my father, that I grew up with that kind of image of body beautiful, bodybuilding, strength. That was that's what I grew up watching. And I guess, I probably went into the fitness industry because of my own demons, if I'm honest. And I'm glad I did. I think a lot of people enter the fitness industry because they don't feel particularly good about themselves and they want to better themselves. But it doesn't, you have to be doing the inner work as well, because it can be an ugly industry if you don't understand why you're doing it, and if you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely. And, talking about the inner work, you do a lot of work on mental coaching. You do a lot of work on like trying to talk about, I'm not going to say spirituality, but, like emotional well-being, to put it in a better way. Do you find that people need that? And especially after the lockdown where everybody's going mental with their own circumstances, do you feel we need to focus a bit more on that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't have an issue with the word spirituality at all. I was raised very religiously. I would say that I'm not religious now. I'm very spiritual, but you know, it depends what you think spirituality is. I believe everything is spiritual. As, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I just,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to put it in a concept. I agree with spirituality as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I've written a book about that. But let's forget that. But yeah, it's how people perceive it. So
Yeah, the word's often scary for people, isn't it? Because
yeah,
they think that it's
that's
something out there. But for me, spirituality is all about the inner work. It's all about the emotional intelligence. It's all about connecting to something that is larger than yourself, which, you know, I think we've really felt in lockdown. We've been isolated, and it's shown us how important it is to connect with something larger than ourselves, because, you know, we're not, no man, no woman is an island. And we weren't designed to be isolated. We're tribal beings. And absolutely, I think the most important work is the inner work. The most important work is to understand your own emotional intelligence, to understand your own emotional wounds. We're all wounded. We've all got stories. We've all got baggage. And people that say that they haven't are probably the ones that need the work the most. We, you know, we only live out of 3 to 5% of our brain, and the rest is just subconscious wiring. And most of our behaviors and our triggers and everything else comes out of the subconscious, which means that if you don't ever look at that, which I use meditation for, you end up just living in loops constantly, patterns that aren't necessarily positive towards change. And it doesn't matter how much you go to the gym, and it doesn't matter how well you eat, and it doesn't matter if you exercise religiously every day. If you're not understanding your subconscious, if you're not understanding your loops, if you're not understanding your patterns, you could potentially physically meet a goal or get results that you were looking for, but it doesn't mean that it's going to bring happiness, and it certainly doesn't mean it's going to make you feel whole in any way. And I think that's the most important thing. I've seen people, you know, completely transform their bodies without transforming their inner worlds, and all it does is bring to the surface that they're actually genuinely still not happy. They're not happy as individuals. So yeah, I think the inner work is the most important thing, and I have no issues calling it spirituality.
No, that's fine. Absolutely fine. It's funny because let's just say I disagreed with my father when I was younger a lot of the times, and now at some points I'm just subconsciously bringing out behaviors of my father, and I'm like, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, it's like, oh, where did that come from? No,
you're Greek, aren't you?
So I was born in Albania, but I was raised in Greece.
See,
So,
my father's Greek, and the Greeks are incredibly Greek men.
Absolutely. And for me, I mean, I lived most of my life in Greece, but I went abroad and studied in Denmark, and that just kind of took me like, poof. So when I came back to Greece, it was like, this is all weird, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
But Greece is a fascinating world. Could talk
about
that.
I love Greece. I love the culture. But that, you know, every culture has its patterns. And it's really important that we understand ours, and we understand our ancestral patterning, because that brings a freedom that we don't have to live in the expectations or the belief systems of our ancestors, you know, which we often do subconsciously.
I can imagine you were raised Orthodox.
I was baptized Orthodox. My mum and my dad split up when I was 3, and I came back to the UK. So I wasn't raised Orthodox. I was raised as a Christian here in the UK, but my mother was very kind of my mom was very spiritual, so it was quite a I guess
liberating way of living.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah, absolutely. So what's your favorite class to teach?
Do you know what? I at the moment I'm teaching everything from yoga to Pilates to martial arts to HIIT to bodyweight training to weights, and I'm doing it all online. And I have to say that I'm just loving it all. I'm loving the diversity of it all, because each class brings, you have the energy of the HIIT or the dance or the cardio or the martial arts is a really yang energy, and then you've got the beautiful kind of yin energy of the yoga and the Pilates and the Tai Chi and stuff like that. So I honestly I couldn't answer that, because they've all got their place.
Yeah, I've seen some of your, oh my god, I think it was combat or HIIT class.
Yeah,
it looked let me just say, you put a lot of passion when you do things. I'm much more laid back in my teaching method.
Well, when it comes to the yang classes, yeah, I put a lot of passion in, because that's just my personality.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So how do you see the transition out of the lockdown and back into classrooms? Or
I really don't know, because I have lost. I was teaching I was only actually teaching external classes for other people, so from Valentine's to our local council and stuff. I was only teaching 6 external classes. I do my own classes as well, but I don't know, because I've lost them all. I don't know if they're going to still be there. I don't know if I really don't know. It's interesting times. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to teach more community-based classes. I mean, I was anyway, but it'll be more outdoor boot camps. It'll be more outdoor things, which I love doing, and people love it here because I'm right by the sea. But with regards to the private gyms, I have no idea. I have no idea if they're even going to survive this. It's going to be interesting.
Michael, I was talking to Michael King a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying that we'll probably have to find a balance between online and live classes. Do you think you're going to keep going online?
Do you know what? My group of people have said to me that they don't want to go back to a gym. They're loving the online stuff. So, which is interesting. It's interesting. But I think so. Yeah, I think I'm going to find that there's going to be those that want the live classes back, and there's going to be those that want the online stuff. So I'm going to have to try and split my energies between the both, and that's going to be an interesting prospect. But I think we'll do it. I think we'll do it. It's going to be like finding your feet online. We're just going to have to find our feet in both camps. I don't know. Watch this space.
Absolutely. I don't. To be fair, I don't know either. I mean, I've said I'm not going to keep going with online stuff because I don't have the energy to do that. Plus all the other stuff, because I'm also working in gyms, but also I'm doing sports therapy work. So I don't think I will have the time. And when I do things online and I'm home, I find that I always put more classes than my body can handle. And then it just builds up. And at some point, boom, there's a wall and my body's feeling it. So,
the beautiful thing with online for me is I take every 4th week off. Okay. And my group have all the pre-recorded stuff. So I take every 4th week off, and then they can go back and do any of the pre-recorded classes, and that's how I've dealt with that. So I don't know how that's going to translate when I start doing live classes as well. However, I've just heard that France has got a 3rd wave, and everything's going to be closing down again. So who knows?
No, but that fourth week, that's actually really good. I haven't even thought about that. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I time it actually, and then this is probably really important for again for women in fitness. I time it for my monthly cycle so that I get that rest over that period. Because for women that period is really, it's exhausting to try and we shouldn't have to try and stay up here with our exercise at that point in the month. So I've for me it's worked really well not doing live classes, because I've just gone, right, that's it, taking a week off, just going to do gentle stuff, take a week to recuperate, take a week to hide, take a week to, you know, fill myself back up again so that I can come back strong for the next 3 weeks.
No, absolutely. No, it makes perfect sense. It makes absolute sense. And last question, pretty much. You're looking forward to going in events again? Conventions? Conventions, events?
Yeah. I'm a sucker for the stage and the crowds and the loud music, and yeah, I love the drama. I love, you know, it's funny, we do something called Yoga Fit retreats, and we've just confirmed, we were doing it twice a year, we've just confirmed October is in Ibiza. We haven't, will have been, we've been running for 7 years. We've done April and October every year for 7 years, except for the last year. So it's been really odd. And we've just confirmed October, and we're doing a new one in Greece in September, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, I mean, you know, we've been locked up for a year. You ain't excited about anything, aren't you?
Pretty much. I'm looking forward to just going playing, go somewhere else. Doesn't matter where it is, just go away. It makes absolute sense.
Absolutely. And you know, I actually, I think looking back, I've actually enjoyed this last year because I was tired. I was really tired. I was doing a lot as a single mum. I mean, I'm 42 in September, so I'm not a spring chicken. And yeah, I was doing a lot of traveling. I was doing a lot of work away from home. So actually, this has been a lovely reset, but I am looking forward now to getting back.
Have you learned a few stuff on lockdown? For example, I learned that I was not eating enough, and I took the time during lockdown to really time my meals and be more aware of my food, because I was constantly tired. Do you think you've learned something?
I've learned that I don't need the external stuff to live my best life. You know, I kind of felt like I got on this kind of role that, you know, being at conventions, being at retreats, teaching this, you know, out there, fun, putting it all on social media was my ego stuff. And actually having to have been at home for a year has taught me what real life is just as beautiful. You don't need all the ego stuff and the accolade and the out there. It's fun. It's really fun. And if you get to help people along the way, amazing. But it's exhausting. And yeah, probably wasn't eating enough, probably wasn't resting enough, probably wasn't giving myself enough time to do my own inner work and always talking to everybody else about it. So it's kind of given me a year to practice what I preach, really, which is always interesting.
No, it is, but because you need time, you need energy to look after yourself, and most of the times we're busy giving that energy everywhere else.
Yeah.
Great. So that was perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. Let me just stop this.